Here's a video for Math 2-3. This comes from Book 2, Unit 1. This is an introduction with a review of some concepts that we're already familiar with. What we already know. We know that if given a linear equation, y equals 3x plus 2, there's two variables in it. There's the x and there's the y. If we let y equal 11, then we should be able to find x. So we set 3x plus 2 equal to 11. Basically, we're substituting the 11 in for the y. And then we're going to do some steps on it here, some valid algebra steps. As long as we do the same thing to both sides, whatever we do must be okay. So what I've done here is subtract 2 from both sides. Our goal is to get x by itself. We're trying to figure out what x equals. In order to do that, we have to isolate this variable. So we've got 11 minus 2, which is 9, equals 3x. Of course, divide both sides by 3. The 3's cancel, and we're left with x equals 9 divided by 3, which is 3. What if, though, we want to know what's x in terms of y? And I say in terms of y, meaning that we want an equation that instead of starting with y equals, we want the same equation, an equivalent form of that equation, but we want it to start with x equals. What we have to do is do the same steps that we did before, except this time we don't know what y equals. We don't know that y equals 11. Let's see if we can come up with the same conclusion. Again, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. And this time we have y minus 2 equals 3x. We don't at this point know what the value of y is. In fact, it can be anything. But we'll still do the same steps, which means we divide both sides by 3. And now we've got a new equation. X equals y minus 2 all over 3. But it's not really a new equation. It's the same equation, just rewritten to be solved for x. We still have the two variables. As you know, the equivalent forms of an equation or an expression mean that if you put the same number in, you should get the same number out. So let's try again to check. If y equals 11, well, then x equals 11 minus 2 all over 3, which is 9 over 3, which is the same answer we had before of 3. Now it's your turn. Pause this video long enough to try this problem on your own on some separate paper. I'll wait. So here we go, we're back. We have y equals 2x minus 4. The steps we should take are to undo the subtraction first by adding 4 to both sides. So we've got y plus 4 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2. And we're left with x equals y plus 4 all over 2. And that's a new expression of x in terms of y instead of y in terms of x. Here's another example. Please pause this video long enough to do it on your own. I'll wait. And we're back. Here is y equals 7 minus x. Again, we have to undo what has been done to x. In this case, a positive 7 has been added to it. I know it looks like we should do this subtraction first, like in the last problem, but we shouldn't. We have to get rid of the constant first. And since this constant is a positive 7, we have to do the opposite of 7. Subtract 7 from that side, and subtract 7 from that side. Over here it cancels, and we're left with a negative x, and that equals y minus 7. Now to get rid of a negative x, we have to divide by what's in front of the x. In this case, it's a negative 1. So divide both sides by negative 1. and we're left with, on this side, that makes these both positive, and x divided by 1, of course, is just x, and it equals, well, this is a little problem here. We shouldn't have a negative on the bottom, so I'm just going to bring the negative out front of the whole expression. Y equals the negative of the whole fraction, y minus 7 all over 1. That can be simplified a little further, but it's not really part of this lesson. We'll leave it like that for now. So this is going to be useful in this chapter a lot. You're going to be presented with a lot of equations in this form. 2x plus 4y equals 9. That is the standard form of a linear equation, but we're very familiar with seeing it in the form where we can see the slope. So what we need to do is subtract a whole term from one side and bring it to the other side, then do some division. Our goal is to have it in the y equals mx plus b format. In order to do that, let's subtract 2x from both sides. Please notice that 9 and negative 2x, we're subtracting them, but they're not like terms. So they just get rewritten as 9 minus 2x. On this side, though, 2x and negative 2x, when we combine them, they are like terms, so we have cancellation, leaving us just with 4y equals 9 minus 2x. We're going to divide both of the terms on this side by 4. This time, instead of leaving this as a complicated fraction with a variable on top, I'm just going to divide both terms here, 9 and negative 2, by 4. The reason I do that, of course, is so that I can cancel it on this side, leaving me with just the y that I'm looking for here, y by itself. But to do that, I have to do 9 over 4 minus 2x over 4, which I'm going to simplify a little bit. 9/4 is the y-intercept, and negative 1/2 x is the slope and the variable. So the answer to the question, what is the slope? The slope is the coefficient of the x. In this case, it's negative 1/2. The slope is negative 1/2. That's enough for right now. There will be more videos explaining concepts in this chapter, and lots of videos explaining the homework problems. Thank you very much.